Lake Toba. This sleeping volcano 74,000 years ago almost wiped out the entire human race. Now it has transformed to this absolute surreal and majestic lake with a huge island in the middle. Today we'll venture there to see what it's got. Lake Toba is located in Sumatra, one of the largest islands in Indonesia. This is the biggest volcanic lake in the world, and it's one of the most relaxing and stunning places I've ever seen. Lake Toba is one of those places that on the surface doesn't seem to have much, but once you're there, you really don't want to leave it. I've met people who were planning to stay there for a couple of days and then ended up living there for nearly a month. It's a very calm and peaceful place, which was really striking to me knowing its fascinating history. The thing is that Lake Toba is located in the caldera of an ancient volcano that blew up 74,000 years ago. The explosion was of such power that it caused a reduction in the Earth's temperature and nearly wiped out the entire human population that used to live at that time. Some scientists claim that the population was reduced to mere 3 to 10,000 people left on the planet. Can you imagine that? When I was there, I kept looking around and trying to imagine how that landscape must have looked like. This now incredibly peaceful place must have been a true hell on earth, a complete wasteland with all living things instantly dead in a radius of thousands of kilometers. So yes, staring at those mountains around the Lake Toba was the top thing for me to do there. Now the place has completely changed. After the eruption, an island named Samosir formed in the middle of this lake, which we are going to explore today. The first location we visited was the island top. It's relatively short and scenic, right? The elevation of the mountain is around 500 meters, which means that it's much cooler there and the landscape changes a lot. I must mention that one of the most surprising things on that island was the weather. First, when I saw that our homestay doesn't have any air conditioning, I was really concerned, as I know how hot it can be in Indonesia. Indonesia overall is a very hot and humid tropical country. Without an aircon, your life quickly turns into a sweaty and pretty much unpleasant experience. Little did I know that Lake Toba is elevated above the sea level. Its elevation is around 900 meters, which leads to a super comfortable temperature there all year long. The temperature would vary from 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, which is one of the most ideal temperatures that you can find. But then when you climb up the mountain on the top of this island, the temperature drops even lower. Frankly, it felt rather cold over there, but the views were amazing, especially from the drone's perspective. Next up is the northern tip of the island. It's a place with some sort of a beach. It's a bit rocky and muddy, but the views are really nice. It's the spot to watch the sunset. It looks absolutely incredible there. After that, we headed to the west. That is where the island actually connects with the mainland, with this rather unusual red bridge, which reminded me of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. It is a bit of a long ride from the homestay, but it's definitely worth it, don't miss it. Once you're on the other side, you can explore a huge waterfall Efrata that runs down the mountain. The views are just unbelievable. Then you can ride around and climb a little bit higher to the viewpoint where you can see the west coast of the Samosir Island. It looks gorgeous. Also check the hot springs. They were a little bit too hot for me, but if you like such a kind of thing, do give them a look. One more attraction to check out is the local museums and historic spots. Lake Toba is inhabited by ethnic Bataks, the indigenous people of the Samosir Island. You can see their traditional pointy roofed buildings all over the place. There are also a few tombs that you can visit that belong to the old kings of this island. Up until the 19th century, the inhabitants of Lake Toba had their own religion and culture, but then the Christians arrived and decided to convert them to Christianity. Now when you ride through this island, it's very usual to see these old Lutheran churches scattered all around. It is a very unusual view for Indonesia though. Also now, because of their religious beliefs, food like pork is in a very easy access here. Actually, my most favorite dish that I've tried in Lake Toba was called saksang, which is some sort of a pork curry with rice and spicy salad. It was unbelievably tasty, one of the best dishes that I've tried in Sumatra. These are basically the main things to see here. It's not that much, but Lake Toba needs to be approached with patience and calm. This place is not made for rushed, adventurous explorations. No, this place is there to go, rest. It's a perfect retreat where you can relax in a nice cool weather, enjoy fresh clean air and spectacular views. Well, now let's talk about the technicalities. How do you actually reach Lake Toba? The way to get there is quite straightforward, but takes some time. You'll first need to land in Medan, the capital city of Sumatra, then take a taxi or bus down to Lake Toba. This will take about 3-4 hours. It's a bit of a long ride, but the road now is much better than was before, so the trip is pretty much effortless. Then some time on a ferry and you're there. Most of the tourists stay in a tiny little town called Tuk Tuk. It is located in the peninsula of Samosir Island and it is a small but very convenient spot. The ferries stop right at it, so you don't even need to take any other cars or taxis. They will deliver you straight to the doorstep of your homestay. We were in a homestay called Landh, and to be honest, this was a damn good choice of place to live. It's located right in the first line of the lake. The views from it were incredible. They basically had everything we needed. Motorbike rental, yep, kayaks, sure, food, obviously. The food was actually one of the main highlights of this homestay, simply outstanding. They served some of the best Indonesian food I've ever tried. I don't know how they did it, but it was absolutely exceptional. The staff and the owner were lovely too. They helped us with everything and our stay was really nice. In hindsight, I feel I should have stayed there for a little bit longer, maybe just one more day to fully enjoy the relaxing pace of that island. Honestly, Lake Toba was a huge surprise. I knew it was going to be something special just because of the pure nature of it, but what I saw was beyond my expectations. Beautiful, pure nature, fascinating landscapes, multiple lakes and rivers all around, beautiful clean water and fresh air. As I said before, probably the most striking thing for me was that all this was a scene of a mass extinction, world-scale catastrophe site. This place was a pure hell on earth, and now just look at it, so serene and beautiful. Hard to digest this, but that's what it's like. And this will do for now. As I said, Lake Toba was simply unbelievable. It's got this incredible mixture of beautiful, clean nature, nice, fresh air, amazing views, lovely people, good food, and just the pace of it is so calm and relaxing. I really enjoyed it there, and I really hope that you guys will be able to get there too. But for now, this will do. As usual, please like, subscribe, leave a comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Comments usually help to boost the video, so please don't feel shy to share your thoughts. Maybe you would like to know something more, or I didn't mention something, or you've been there and you have your own experience. Please do feel free to write what you have in your mind. I'd love to know. Well, this will do. Thanks all for watching. Bye, and see you soon.